Remind us again, how long did it take to pay off the laser?
19 days.
Wow.
From when it arrived.
That's amazing.
I had a whole 90-day plan.
But yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even hit 3 weeks.
And welcome back to the Ready Back Project with Chris and John.
Hi.
It's been a while.
It has. For
as you can tell,
reasons.
She's not feeling
hanging
well.
in there, guys. Yeah, so the last week was a different sickness.
Yeah. And
then a new one showed up. But we're gonna power through.
Yes, we are. With today's guest, Callie Goodwin of Sparks of Joy Co.
Hey.
How's it going?
Hi, how are you? Good. How are y'all?
Good.
Can't
hanging
complain.
in there.
As good as we can be.
Right?
Yes.
The new school germs have arrived.
Yeah, school started.
Full force. So,
Here we are.
Yes.
Yep. So tell us about your background. There's actually a couple people who recommended I reach out to you just because of your story and your following, and just how she got into the laser world in a unique way, which is kind of exciting. At least from what I know of the story. Because a lot of people who've come on in the past, it's like, oh, COVID happened, I lost my job, and I started a laser business. Right. So I'm curious how you got into lasers.
Oh, yeah, it is a little interesting of a story. So COVID happened, and I'm just kidding. Well, COVID did happen.
Right.
And
all of us, but yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on which way you lean.
Right.
Yeah. The story starts actually when COVID happened, but it's a little bit different route. So when COVID happened, I bought a house, moved in, was exposed to COVID, had to quarantine. And I ended up starting a greeting card business out of that. And so we pre-stamp greeting cards. That's like the main bread and butter of Sparks of Joy Co. And so we sell pre-stamped greeting cards. We started on TikTok immediately and grew that over the last 3 years. And about a year in, something to know about me is I have like severe ADHD. I also am a very impulsive person. And I'm not, yeah. And currently not taking meds for either of that. So like, it is what it is. I love it. It's always an adventure. You never know what toy is going to show up in Callie's house. So we've turned this into Callie's Chaos Craft House.
Nice.
Because I have gotten rid of my dining room table and replaced it with a heat press and sublimation. My entire entryway and like living room is currently a packing station for our last little viral moment. But back in 2001, I purchased, not 2001, 2021. Wow. I don't know if I've ever made that mistake. Anyway, in 2021, I purchased a Flux Bimo, a little desktop laser that cuts about this 8x10. So the size of a piece of paper. And I was like, I'm going to buy a laser. Well, I was like, so I want to make some earrings.
What was the wattage on that? Was it a diode or
it's a 30 watt.
Okay.
It's a 30 watt CO2.
Okay.
So it's just a baby.
A baby one.
A baby laser. Yep.
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser tested and laser approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte, anything matte, and I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit houstonacrylic.com.
Do it.
Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high-quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylazerdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser ready blanks.
It's very slow. I didn't know it at the time. I was just like, whoa, laser.
Right?
I actually had it shipped to my friend's house in Florida because I was going to be going out of town to her house for a week and a half. And so I shipped it to her house and we played with it in Florida. And out of that, because I do a lot of work, my day job has always been in higher ed social media. I now currently work for a social media app for high schoolers going to college. So really in that realm of higher ed social,
Yeah.
I was working on an awards competition in higher ed social. And I was like, guys, instead of us like paying somebody else to do the trophies, like, why don't we use my new machine? I think I can make trophies. And
Yeah.
so we designed this like absurd 3-piece trophy where it had like a clear piece on the front. It had a colored back
Right.
with a certain design. And then both pieces connected and fit into a base. And so I could cut one piece of that 3-piece because the middle pieces were cut out. They were long rectangles. I could cut one piece at a time on my laser.
Oh my
So the
God.
clear piece was engraved. The back piece was just plain.
Right.
But of course we chose like chunky, thick glitter
Right.
acrylic.
Yeah.
So like that was its own battle with a 30-watt
Right.
laser. Sometimes I fight that with my nicer, like my 60-watt lasers
Yeah.
have issues. So anyway, it took me 4 weeks of consistently cutting to get all the pieces because we need 30 trophies.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
90 pieces total.
Listen, I made 22 awards
Right.
on my 9, and that was a lot. A lot.
It
So-
was intense.
Yeah.
And then just not knowing anything about lasers either. So I was like learning how to make it fit into the base. I'm really good at like planning and yeah, curve. Anyway,
It's a
yes.
word for sure.
Yeah. But just learning like, okay, how do we adhere clear acrylic to a color piece of acrylic?
You don't.
A color piece of
Yeah.
acrylic. Wow, words are struggling
Yeah.
today.
You
And
don't
get it to fit.
clear to anything.
No,
and
you don't. You
seamless.
don't.
Yeah.
We ended up putting like itty bitty little drops of like glue in the upper corner or like on the
Right.
edge. And then we
Yes.
just fit it in the base and just were like, you know what? We're going to take it
Right.
apart to mail it anyway.
Right.
Whatever. So that one project paid for my BMO.
Oh,
'cause
nice.
It's like $2,000, maybe 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So I was like, cool. I liked my laser. Like, let's go bigger.
Yeah.
I was debating between an Eon and a Omtech 60-watt.
Mhm.
And I just couldn't, like, it's going back and forth. I ended up going Omtech. To be quite honest, I wish I did not. I fought. So my Flux came with a name. Like the software programs a name into it. And so that was Damien. And then my Omtech, we named Big Bertha because she got dropped off at the front door and I was home alone and had to move this 400-pound laser
my
into my
God.
house. She's also blue. So it was just like big blue Bertha. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we moved Bertha in the garage, had to take the door off the hinges to get her in. And then I've kind of fought her for quite a while, a lot of frustration. But was able to
Omtechs can require a lot of tinkering, and people who are comfortable with tinkering love them because there is a savings to it. So kind of like back in the day when you choose between like a manual car and an automatic car,
right.
like the people who drove an automatic, one, they loved driving a manual. They love driving a manual.
Right.
Well, and they also got a cheaper car for it.
Right.
But
Somewhat,
so it's kind of like that with like the Omtechs is like
it used to be like easier to fix. And
like they felt like they knew more about their machine. They had more control because there was some customization.
Right.
Because they would come kind of base model and you'd add the upgrades that you wanted.
Right.
Not
build
like
it your own.
Right. And not that like the laser company considered
almost
as
like people that build their own PCs.
Totally. People
Yeah.
who built their own PCs would
Yeah.
want an OMTech
Yeah.
because you get the savings and the flexibility,
Right.
but like you're the one who has to kind of work on it.
Right.
And so I knew when I heard that, I was like, oh, I'm out. Like he can tinker, but it was my machine when it came down to it. So it's like,
Right.
I didn't want to expect you to be available to tinker, to understand what it is and what's
Right.
going on. And yeah.
That's 100% exactly it. Like
Yeah.
I learned so much about how lasers work because of consistently having to fix it
Right.
or like
Feeling
set
bad.
things up. Yeah. Like it came with the mirrors like so far unaligned that
Oof.
like it took me a week to get them aligned. Like they
Listen,
were
mirror
so
alignment-
messed up.
Mirror alignment. I've been a laser owner so it really only counts for the Eon,
Right.
because you don't have to align anything with the
Right.
Glowforge. But with the Eon, if I have to do a mirror alignment, I'm throwing a full blown adult tantrum because
I know.
like they suck.
Yeah.
And I always call him
Absolutely.
and like, come help! I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah. So I had got Bertha, paid her off doing engraved cutting boards and cups, even though I hated my roller, like hot dog roller rotary.
Oh right.
I hated that thing. It just we did
Yeah.
not get along. So much slipping. I
Yeah.
recently, right before I got my Eon, I upgraded to a Chuck rotary, and now I'm like, you don't work in my Eon, and I want to use you, but I can't go back to Bertha.
Well,
I
We-
can't turn it back on.
We know some guys.
Have you heard of the Pyburn?
That is my next purchase.
Oh
Like,
my god.
that and a
You
fiber
should
are
be coming from the hot dog roller rotary at like
What's the promo code?
Riley.
Do you
Black.
have one?
Riley Black, yes.
Nice.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more.
Yeah.
I
It's
would
literally,
short you, but it's currently in the 9.
Yeah,
gotcha. I have seen so much good stuff about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy. Like you literally just put the cup on there, you size it right, you level it, and you're done. Like it's just it's
There's
so
my trusty bag of rice that I had in my
right,
other
the
office
level,
to just try to keep it from slipping too. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. It was a hot freaking mess all the time. The amount of destroyed cups I have from like having tested it gone well and then went to cut it and it did not go well. Yeah, anyway. So, I recently got an Eon. It was like this dream. Finally got it. It's an Eon Mira 7. I got it 5 weeks ago yesterday.
Nice.
And I started with this goal of let's pay it off in 90 days. Let's see if we can do it. I needed that motivation. I needed to get my butt in gear. And so I came up with a plan of all this content I was going to make. It's also important to know I do have a large following on TikTok because of my greeting card business.
Right. So what is that following? Because it's pretty big.
Yeah, it was. So when we started the when we started the 90-day payoff challenge, it was at 101,000.
That's awesome.
So all of that came from essentially greeting cards. And then I've done a lot of stuff with TikTok. I spoke at South by Southwest in Texas last year, or no, this year, back in March. And then I went to DC with TikTok and spoke to Congress and did a press conference on the Capitol steps and met the CEO.
Nice.
And then we did VidCon earlier this year, and then back to DC. So anyway, yeah, I do a lot with TikTok. And a lot of that comes, I think I'm like one of their poster kids because my sales pre-laser, I mean, it's even higher with my laser, but
Right.
earlier it was 96% of my greeting card sales came because people found me on TikTok.
Wow.
And so that's been a main driving force of my business. And here
Yeah.
we are now with the Eon doing this 90-day payoff challenge. And like my
Right.
world has blown up the last few weeks in the best way possible.
Yeah.
We went viral for our Stanley toppers.
Mhm.
And I didn't create the file. I didn't create the concept, but
Yeah.
I do kind of claim making it go viral. Because I saw like maybe 3 or 4 people making them prior to when I started. And then I posted on TikTok and we got over 9 million views between our videos.
Damn.
Wow.
And we've sold 2,500 before we turned it off. And we turned it off on the 13th of August. Because so the way that TikTok shop works is you have to ship them out in 3 days.
That's crazy.
And my brain likes to protect me from numbers. And so I can't get a full grasp on how much 2,500 is until we were packing 2,500.
Right.
And I had like 15 people in my house at all times helping me assemble these toppers.
That's
So
crazy.
we did about $30,000 worth of sales in 9 days.
Wow.
The payoff point for the laser was 730 toppers.
Yeah.
2,500 is where we ended. So
Right.
So when's the other 7 being delivered?
Right.
Well, I'm going fiber next, and we're getting a pie burn. We have allocated some of this money to other projects.
Nice.
I have some work projects for hats, and so I'm like, I want a fiber to do like
Yeah.
hat patches and stuff. I know I can do it on my mirror, but I've wanted a
It's like-
fiber for so long.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They're
I'm like,
so
okay,
cool.
yeah,
And they're so fast.
they
That's
are
the best part.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. Hopefully, soon we're gonna add that. And then yeah, we're definitely getting a pie burn. As soon as I realized that like we were gonna have some money coming in, I'm like,
Yeah.
done.
Well, just think about it. Like you're the perfect example of why. So I struggled with the pie burn for a while because of the cost. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't have that much cost. I don't have that much excess, at least at the time in my business, that I felt comfortable, like, putting into a machine. And like, I know me, and sometimes I won't necessarily use it as much as I think I will. And I have these big plans. And then when it comes down to it, I don't follow through, or it's not what I think it's going to be. So then I don't use it as much. But the pie burn and your story about the other rotary, the kind of like the basic rotaries that'll like either come with the laser or a lot more affordable, only like $100 to $200. The time you spent doing all of the like setup and making sure it's good and double, triple checking and then pressing start and then it not working, like that's where that money that you invest into like a good piece of equipment pays you back, because you're not wasting, time is money. And you were also wasting materials and stuff. And so that's why like the pie burn rotary, like I everyone who's like struggling with it, I'm like, I'm telling you, just if you have it, like do it, like save up, you will love it. If you like, and tumblers are now one of my favorite things to make after he sets it up. Because I'm not gonna lie, I hate breaking down the laser and setting up the rotary. So that's his job. So I'm like, hey, I have cups. He'll go set it up for me, and I'm good. But like cups, they're just, everyone hoards those. If you drink out of the tumblers, you have like 16 of them, and so there's no issue with them buying more. And when the longest part of the tumbler process is design. So if you can get that dialed in, like only offer so many designs or have pre-made designs that you just need to like adjust a name or something like that, it takes you, I mean, a long engrave, I think was like 7 or 8 minutes. And then it takes you 3 minutes to clean it. And you just made, $20 profit, or, especially if you get like a big bulk order, those are the best.
Right.
So I have a case in the other room of 24 cups that a pool company needs. And I haven't started because I am so like
Yeah.
angry at my other
Right.
rotary.
Well, and so it reminds me of my like t-shirt story kind of, in that my equipment, I didn't know like if the vinyl was reliable, because I was having some issue with some of them like lifting after the fact, and I couldn't figure out if it was like a bad batch of vinyl, if the press settings weren't good or whatever. And so anytime I got like big orders, or any orders for that matter after the fact, I was really anxious about starting that job. So I would procrastinate for forever because I was anxious about like it not going right. Like you've had yours go. And so then you're like, oh, I'm not ready for that stress. So then you put it off and you put it off instead of just, getting it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like that way about these tumbler toppers too. They fit out of 2,500 orders. We've had them fit like all but maybe like 100. And we
Yeah, I saw
can't
you.
find the rhyme or reason on why they're
Right.
not fitting certain cups. And
Yeah.
so I'm almost fearful to even offer them again. So we're shifting gears starting next week.
Yeah.
We're not doing the layered. We're shifting to like engraved ones.
Mm,
So getting acrylic with core colors
right.
and um engraving them, because then we don't
Right.
have to worry about the letters shifting. And that's the other hard thing, is like you learn
Right.
as you go. And when you go viral for something,
Right.
then you're under the spotlight, because all of a sudden all of these people have found you, but they're not normal followers of you. And
Right.
so
So
I've got so
you're
many people
doing your first
that are,
impression on all those
yeah,
people. Yeah.
exactly. And then they're angry and they're like, this isn't a reputable business, da da da, like this poor quality. And then my
Right.
followers are like, if you knew her or if you followed her, you would know that she would do anything to fix it. Give her a chance. But
Right.
then the new people are just like, oh, this was a fail, da da da. And I'm just like, okay, I like
Right. I give
my
up.
heart. Yeah, my heart has been hurting this week because I'm just like, I
Yeah,
very
that's
much
hard.
am a people pleaser. And
Right.
so to have customers that are angry or upset or like we messed it up and they don't want to give us a chance, like I
Yeah.
would love to fix it.
Hard.
We're
Yeah.
redoing about 70 of them for different reasons. One of them, the letters are shifting in shipment
Well,
because
and so
the
talk
glue
about
is,
that. Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah,
that's another thing that's like, I hate this because it reminds me of COVID, but unprecedented times, because
yeah,
it's really fucking hot
yeah,
everywhere right now.
yeah,
And so we ran
yeah,
into an issue of them, applying them with 3M, because
Right.
the 3M is literally life. Is
yes,
it makes it so easy to
Mhm.
assemble stuff quickly.
Right.
And for the most part, it's pretty damn permanent
Right.
yeah,
until it's
hmm
sitting in someone's
Heat.
mailbox or
Right.
a mail truck for, however many hours
Mhm.
in 100+ degree weather.
Right.
It's gonna fall apart. Like there's not a lot that can like hold
well,
up to that.
yeah, and some of our tags have like really thin letters. So
Those are the worst.
I'm the idiot for offering too many options too. That was
I'm real bad.
uh fatal mistake number one is you've got 40-ounce tumbler toppers and 30-ounce. So you got two sizes, and then you have like 18 of these base plates.
Oof.
Because I was like, I was a hoarder of acrylic. I had so much that I've never touched. I
Same.
went to Smoke Fest back in May and
Mhm.
bought like 50 sheets of acrylic that I'm like, I might as well use them.
Right.
And so I was just offering everything in my cabinet to customers at first.
Right. It
Again,
makes sense eventually.
I only thought we were going to sell like 20 to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
Never 2,500.
Right.
So, and then we also offered 4 fonts because also I'm an idiot. So, these like single letter ones are difficult because you have to hand place them.
Right.
And it got to the point where like scoring each one wasn't feasible because we would cut an entire sheet of like 40
Oh, right.
tags.
Yeah.
And so we got to the point where I would drop it in. Actually, my dad would. We got him over here and taught him how to do the basics. So he would drop in a sheet. I made a jig out of magnets, drop in the sheet, frame it, hit the start button, and then he'd go back to doing whatever he's doing. When it would
Yeah.
beep, he'd come back, grab all the little pieces, drop the next one. And then
Right.
we had stacks of them in the other room. So my buffet table is all 30-ounce tags. My kitchen island is all 40-ounce tags.
Nice.
And then we would take the packing envelope, look at the packing slip, drop the tag in, and then it would get handed off to the names table, which was a pure chaos
Oh, I bet.
because
All
the
those
amount
little
of ways that you
everywhere.
can spell Kirsten,
Oh my
Kristen, Haley, in 5 different,
Crystal.
like Maddie, like there's so many. And so we had so many people here helping. There was a lot of like name spelling mix-ups, or they didn't, because of the font options, they would grab the wrong font. And so anyway, most people were good with that. We've
Were there
the
any
mis-
like crazy long names?
oh yeah, we had Bumgarter on one on a 30-ounce tag. And I was like, how do you expect that to fit? Thankfully they chose script, so it was all one piece.
Right.
But like still, I was like, that is the longest name on the tiniest tag.
Right.
But we put a box around each of the names that was not script, so that
Yeah.
we essentially had this little template that we could just
Right.
drop the letters into.
Yeah.
And
Which
what
we
we've
do-
done,
I do that on big signs and stuff
yeah,
like
it's
that. Like,
it's a great yeah.
for sure.
But with that, so because some of the letters are so thin, there's just not enough adhesive
Surface
for when
area.
it does, when it does melt. And so we have started shipping them with that little frame on it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we
Which is
we
another
apply
good
the
idea
letters.
for
Yeah.
cake toppers.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
Sometimes for cake toppers, so I either use cardboard like templates, like so. Heather has a really good reel on her Instagram. I think it's an old one, but where she basically makes like a cardboard book almost to like
That's so
protect
smart.
the cake topper. And that middle layer is like basically the edge, the outline of the cake topper. But depending on your acrylic, you can use the excess acrylic for that, as well, to do, just add a rectangle around it, and then now you have like the padding around your whatever it is.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
I haven't done cake toppers. That's a really
Cake
smart
toppers are
idea.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it goes over into a lot of different projects because you're already using that material, so using it for like two things, making assembly easy and protecting the item, just makes it a good
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we take these now and we leave them on top of the tag, and then we throw a piece of blue painter's tape over it just to keep it in place. I am waiting for the first batch of those to start hitting mailboxes, and customers message me. I'm like, what is this? Because I wasn't smart and I didn't put anything in there explaining like take the tape off and take the frame off.
WTF.
So
yeah. Well, and then I mean that's another thing too. Another nice, so the protective film on acrylic. I have been tempted so many times to leave it on there during shipping to protect it so that it looks nice when they get it. But explaining to someone like how to get it off, one, that it exists, even if you put a card in the package, people don't see that stuff, or if they see it, they don't necessarily read it, or so like it always pains me to take it off because I know like now I'm risking, especially like mirror acrylic that like really scratches easy. Yeah, it's hard because like you want to do that, but then you have to be able to communicate that to the customer. I can't tell you how many times I've bought something on like Amazon that's acrylic. Go to those reviews of anything acrylic on Amazon. You'll see a million people saying it's foggy, it's peeling, it's doing, not knowing that it's the protective film. Yeah.
I wonder if you could put a sticker on the front of that though, like so they have to see it.
Right.
And they have to peel it off.
I've seen that. So I did see on a couple, I think I bought clear acrylic like photo risers, for things. And I'm pretty sure one of them had like a little like tab. And it was like peel here because like otherwise,
yeah. Our blush topper is like the clear film on top of it was impossible to see. Like it was impossible to see. And so we sent out a few with that. We had put the letters on top of that clear film because we didn't even see it.
Right.
And so customers got it and it heated up so much that it flared. And they're like, why would you send this to me like this? And I'm like, Oh my gosh, I promise we didn't mean to.
Right.
Like we just did not see that film. And so
Yeah.
we started I have right behind me like you can't. It's actually it's over there somewhere. Anyway, there's a massive stack. That entire chair is filled with probably 40 sheets of acrylic that we peeled as soon as it arrived before it got brought into this little office, we peeled the layer off of it because we didn't want to risk putting it in the laser and having to individually peel it off of
Right.
40 tags at one, like after cutting, but also like we didn't want that mistake to happen again. So we learned so much as we went.
Right.
Also, like scripts, we didn't tell people that we were going to do them all lowercase, but this is the reason we do them all lowercase is because like this says Idney, YDNEY, because we can't find the S because it's the capital letter is not connected to the rest of the name. So we had to do lowercase because the spacing, if we just tried to like put them together and like weld it, was too funky.
Remind me later because I have a font that's script, but that the capital letter attaches to the rest of the word.
I found one
Or
this
you can do it
week.
manually, but that's always a
Oh
pain.
yeah, well that's what we were doing. We were trying to connect them manually, but we started
either.
I mean, when you're doing so, this is another pro tip to anybody who gets a mass influx of orders and needs help. I ended up setting up a Airtable, which is just a fancy spreadsheet program. It's free. But I would dump all of my orders into there, just upload the CSV and CSV, CVS, CSV. Yeah, no, CVS is the drugstore. Anyway, I say stuff and then I'm like, is that right? Should just say it confidently and keep moving forward. Anyway, I uploaded the file and then I actually had 3 or 4 friends that were skilled in Illustrator that would take the names. So they would read the listing. So it would say 40-ounce script and then this pattern base, and they would know whether it needed to be white or black. And then I did an Illustrator file with 4 art boards. So 40-ounce white, 40-ounce black, 30-ounce white, 30-ounce black. And they would move all the names from the spreadsheet and make them into cut files or SVGs for me. And so, I can't tell you how many sheets they sent me. And we packed them in there. Like one sheet I looked the other day and it had 240 names on it.
Wow.
On one piece of acrylic. Like we played master Tetris on these. But having them like work on that kind of overnight and the day before so that when they sent it to me, because they would go in and they would weld all the eye dots, they would make sure it was the right font, they would make sure it was the right, like on the right sheet for the size, because then when we took it off the laser, we could say, hey, all of these names go to tags that need white text and they're 40-ounce tags. Right. So we kind of had it separated on the table for a period of time that way. We learned a lot through that process, but anyway, have outsourcing that kind of stuff. If you can find somebody, we paid them 50 cents a name. One girl would knock out like 100 of them an hour. I'm like, you're making $50 an hour. Right. Just literally typing names from the spreadsheet and typing it into Illustrator and just welding the dots. Like,
I mean,
she loved that
thing when going viral, like I went like baby viral compared to that. And outsourcing was huge, and knowing your limitations. So like I went viral when I had cut off orders for Christmas, and because I was newly pregnant and miserable, and it was like, surprise, you're going viral. And it's like, oh shit, okay. Excuse me. And then I didn't even have like a site set up. I was just selling like through, like messages, DMs, and Instagram, because I was just like, what? Yeah. I set up my website in 10 hours because, overnight, because I was like, this isn't going to work. But what helped me was, so there was like, they were ornaments, and so the more complicated ones, those were more limited, and they were also much more expensive. And then there's one type of ornament that I really hated making, but my friend didn't mind making. So I outsourced all of those to her, and I, paid her like whatever she would charge for them. And I was charging way more because like these were not orders that I really like kind of wanted, but I had to jump on like, the opportunity. But yeah, outsourcing, like I was like, who can help? Who wants to cut things or like assemble things, or it was like, and then the ones that were harder to make or that I didn't like to make as much, I only offered I think like 20 of that particular style to make sure that I didn't want to be miserable. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to like jump on it, but I wanted to be like smart about it too. And it was like 2 weeks before Christmas.
Right,
I'm
you
like,
wanna
you
deliver on
guys aren't
time.
getting these before Christmas. I hope you know that. Like, this is for Christmas next year. Which I ended up actually getting most of them out, I think, the week before.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that the reason that happened was because I was actually like smart in my timelines. I'd let them know. I was very like transparent that like, you may not get these. If you do, it's a bonus. You may not get them before Christmas. And then limiting the quantity, and then also getting help. Because like, you going viral, ooh, all this money, but it's like it's worth all that money to give a little bit to some friends or some homies or some other laser owners to give you a little assistance, because it can be really, really stressful.
I had to, so I guess we went viral over the weekend. So like prior to our Stanley Toppers taking off, we had sold like 100 of them over the course of 2 weeks. And then a Friday hit, we maxed out at 200, then Saturday 200, Sunday at 200, and like then it continued for a few days, and we finally had to call it when we hit 2,500.
Nice.
But in the middle of all of that, I kept telling my dad. So we made one fatal mistake. We made is we had it set to. I tried to be nice to our post office because we do a lot of business with them with their greeting card business. I like them. I don't like to make them miserable. I like to give them scan sheets, and TikTok doesn't do scan sheets, and so we decided to do ship by seller. So we had it importing into Shopify, and then we had it going from Shopify to Pirate Ship so that we could do scan sheets. Well, the reality is that didn't even matter because we couldn't get like a whole batch completed at the same time to take to the post office to utilize the scan sheets. And if we did it that way, we had to pay out of pocket for shipping. So I upfronted like $4,000 in shipping labels before we finally switched to ship by platform, and then it just takes it out of our payout, which for TikTok you don't get paid until 15 days after the product is delivered. So we got our first payout for this viral video today.
Oh, nice.
It was the first time we got paid. It's a little bit. It's not even a lot. It's from that first 100 orders.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the next couple weeks will be nice, but we finally have like money hit the count for the first time today, and I'm just like, it's not dry. Because
speaking
acrylic
of
too.
Sheets, so what note did I show you yesterday?
Oh,
my printer, it has been like, I've had it for a long time, and it's been on its way out, and we just didn't buy more ink. We're like, as soon as this ink is out, then we'll buy a new printer. Well, of course, the ink goes out, and it's like, okay, now like I legit can't use anything, and I probably should have had one like on backup, but anyway, the printer ink went out, and so I couldn't print the scan sheets. And the first day, like, and this is only like 8 packages, and like, I don't know, there was like 7 or something the second day. So the first day I was like, okay. And then the second day I felt so bad not having like a scan sheet. The second day in a row, I wrote like a little note, and I was like, sorry, printer's broken. Sorry for no scan sheet. Printer's coming in today or something like that. Cause I mean, like, yeah, a lot of people can kind of be like jerks and be like, oh, it's their job. And then like, yes, it's their job. But at the same time, like, I want to
make it easier
for them as I can, because them doing their job helps me do mine. So I feel you on the scan sheets. That would kill me too, because it's rough. I feel bad for them. And then the other part is they just don't scan it. And then it's like, well, now I have no, then you hope someone else scans it down the line, because if something happens to it, it doesn't even look like the post office received it, let alone,
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a struggle.
TikTok, you have to have them scanned in. You're supposed to have them scanned in within 3 days. And so I made friends with my new postman. Thankfully, we got a new postman who doesn't mind the orders. And so I told him,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't have a scan sheet. Yes, there are 200 orders in my mailbox at the moment. I have a massive mailbox.
Yeah.
And so he just sits there and I hear him out there, beep, beep, beep,
Beep.
beep. And he's jamming. Like he's like, if this supports your business, I'll sit here and scan all day. But
Aw,
then I
he's
take like tubs to the post office and drop off like 400 orders. And they look at me and they're like, really, Callie? I'm like,
the looks,
listen,
yeah.
if I could give you a scan sheet, I would, but I
Right.
can't. And
Yeah.
so they have. I told them
I
every time I
really
go in.
wish there was a way that like we could manually generate a scan sheet
Mhm.
because I mean, there's been times before. I remember what was that time? I think I was like before Christmas or something. I had like 40 something orders that were going out, and the scan sheets weren't working with Shopify for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And once you pass that time of like, you know, the same day that you printed them, you can't print one anymore. And like I was having like a glitch and I couldn't get it fixed in time. And so I couldn't get a scan sheet. And then I went to the post office and they were like, you know, they were pissed off about, I think it was Christmas. So things like
Right.
sucked anyway. And they were like, oh, well, we technically don't have to scan any first class like packages. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, but I can add insurance to a first class package. The only way you'll honor insurance is if it's been scanned. I'm like, so how do I get it scanned if you're telling me you don't have to, but if it's lost, that's a requirement. Like it was this whole thing. And of course, most of my packages, because they're small little baggies of keychain thingies, not drugs, they need to be sent by first class. And
Yeah.
95% of my stuff is first class unless they upgrade to priority or they order a lot. So then I ended up having to go to the like corporate one, like the
Oh, mhm.
bigger post office. They wouldn't. I was like, yeah. So it's a whole thing.
It is. I also have been playing the game where TikTok, you have to ship it in a certain amount of days. They get canceled if they're not shipped by a certain amount of time, but it's 3 a.m. Eastern time or midnight Pacific. So I've been making midnight. Well, I try to do it before midnight. Post office runs. I know I can leave my house at 11:51. I can get there by 11:54, and I can have them scanned in by 11:59.
So how do they get scanned in? Do they have like a kiosk or something?
Yeah, we have a kiosk at ours, but the
Oh,
problem
okay.
is like you have to hit 4 buttons, then you scan, then you have to hit 4 buttons again, scan. So it's kind of
Oh
a
my
slow
God.
process because you have to new label or continue, new label. No, there's not explosives. Yes, I get it.
Right.
Like, and then you scan. And I've done this like every night for the last week.
Oh,
But I have to do it before midnight because after midnight, then the receipt says the next day, and then TikTok
right.
won't honor that. And so then
Yeah.
I have to get on chat if I do it past midnight. And I'm like, listen, I have the receipt. It is scanned in. I have to do it before that 3 a.m. time. So I come home, I get on chat, I send them all the messages. I'm like, please mark all of these as shipped because I just did. Here's the receipt. Da, da, da. So that's fun.
Oof.
But it's been a whirlwind. Like I said, I had 15 friends here helping pack orders. My boss from the college that I used to work at when I was running social media there, his wife has been here every day packing orders. So much so that I gave her my house code. So she drops her kid off at school and then comes in at 7:30 in the morning. I'm not awake. I'm a night owl.
Yep, same.
So she walks in.
You were out at midnight delivering sending packages.
Yeah, I'm up to like 3:30, 4:30, going to bed, and then I wake up at like 9-ish and I walk out and there's like 3 people in my living room packing orders and I'm just like,
Hi.
good morning.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first time we ran into that issue was actually one of the nights where we had like a huge influx of orders and we're like, oh, let's pack these at night to like get them out, right? And so we were packing them and however we were packing them, we hit that cutoff time. And I'm still not sure if it's 9 p.m. or if it's midnight, but there were like 20 packages that I did that were before the cutoff for like that day of the scan sheet on Shopify. And so I go, you know what I'm going to say. I go to print the scan sheet and mind you, we had, again, like 40 something orders or something. And it says like 10. And I'm like, fuck you mean 10? Like, we did like 40 or whatever. And yeah, so that was like, and so now I always get nervous about shipping them at night to get ahead of the game and losing the scan sheet, because I rely on that to not feel like a jerk to my my postal workers. And here we don't even have which he may be the normal one, but just didn't want to like take like I don't know, didn't want to be assigned that title. But like I remember the first day after we moved here, because we've only lived here for a couple months, and we had an amazing one at our last house.
Literally, her name was
she was amazing. Yeah, her last name was Maze, so I made her a cup that said amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
She was so nice. She would ask about the kids. She was great. And she was right after a guy who hated his job. So he wouldn't pick up, even though I put out pickup, like requests.
Bare minimum.
He would stop by. He'd see my packages, hopefully tell himself that he was coming back and never come back. So it was like,
that was our last mail lady.
Yeah. So this one, I'm like, I got to get in. Let me please, I have a home business. Like, I'll do scan sheets as much as I can. I'll take care of you. And I was like, oh, you're my normal guy. He wasn't even in like a uniform, literally in a t-shirt and shorts. And he was like, oh, this route doesn't really have a normal person. I was like, fantastic. So they've been really good about like picking up every day. And we've had no issues so far.
Knock on wood.
But yeah, right. I know I just jinxed it.
Yeah, if Tito doesn't come to pick up, then we just drive it to the post office. But then we have to there's 3 ladies there. One on the end is very mean, and the other 2 are very nice. So we just walk in and hope it's one of them. And we're like, hi, thanks for supporting my small business by scanning these all in for me.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to bring them a Stanley Topper or a keychain or something.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Thank you.
I feel like at this point I need to reward everybody with Stanley Cups in addition to I think we were talking about that earlier, paying friends to help. It's well worth the money to reward them with payment for their time. I don't want to take advantage of my friends like that, but also I desperately needed them. And so, that was.
So remind us again, how long did it take to pay off the laser?
19 days.
Wow.
When it arrived.
That's amazing.
I had a whole 90-day plan.
But yeah,
we didn't even hit 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
And so 19 days after it arrived, I had a whole 90-day plan ready to go. So I was actually telling my friend Emily this morning, I was like, I still have all of these ideas and all of this supplies for the other 90 days worth of content I was going to make. I just need the Stanley Toppers to chill out. And because we're switching to the engraved, I can do one tag in 50 seconds, cut and engrave it, and then just drop it directly into the shipping mailer. So that's going to be a lot smoother once our big inventory, because we had to reorder everything with core colors. So that will start next week. And then we're going to sell all of our blanks today and over the weekend and get rid of them, because I can't do the layered anymore with the amount of issues we've had. If people want layered ones, we just defer to anybody else in the laser community who's now doing them. But please go support all the other small businesses. We are shifting. Please go give them your business.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I am a huge.
I love deferring to other laser owners who like making them or don't mind making them or really need to order when I'm like, that sounds miserable to me, but this could mean $10, $100 in someone else's pocket, So
Absolutely.
the perfect example is those awards. It's just, she wanted a local customer too. And I made them for her for 3 years, but I always struggled with pricing. And so I always undervalued my time, and it just wasn't worth it for me anymore personally with how much I have going on. It took too much away from my other stuff that was more profitable. And so I passed it on to a friend, and it's a big order, 22, 23 fancy awards. And so it was nice, but I also gave her a heads up hey, this is a lot of work. But after all that work, you get a pretty, decent payout. But it feels great to pass it on to people who want and need those orders, and then you can focus on the stuff that you enjoy making that still makes you money, but in a way that makes sense for your business.
Yeah, I have two thoughts on that. So one, I'm a big advocate for community over competition. And so I had a lot of my customers tagging me in other makers' videos of their Stanley toppers, thinking that I was going to come and be like, oh no, you're stealing my idea. And then I would pop into the comment section and be like, heck
good
yeah,
job.
way to go. I love that design. Great job. Like you
Right.
should definitely support them. And they're like, so the makers would then be DMing me like, thank you so much for being kind. I'm like, well, my customer was a jerk for tagging me in your video trying to be mean. Like
Yeah,
that's not what this is about. There's clearly enough Stanleys in the world for us to all do this together.
When customers, like friends and family, don't understand, they see something that we can make and they think, oh, you should make this. And they don't think about where they're saying that. And a lot of times they're saying that at someone else's vendor craft table that they're selling those items.
Right.
They don't, that person's business page where they're trying to get sales. Like, and then you're like in this uncomfortable position, like, sorry.
I had a girl tag me. So I posted on my personal Facebook, a friend of mine that I know from Twitter that also happens to be a laser maker, that we're now Facebook friends, tagged another friend of hers in it and was like, I think you need this. And that other friend was like, oh, can you make it for me? Talking to her friend, not me. And it was on my sales post.
Yeah.
And like the friend of mine was like, I'm so sorry she said that. Like, I'm not going to make it for her. Like I was telling her to do it because I don't want to do it. And I was like, I get you. It's fine.
Right.
Like sometimes customers just like don't think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But one other thought on that, we were talking earlier. I don't remember where this thought came from, but valuing your time and like pricing. I'll be very transparent. We started listing our Stanley toppers at $8 for the first 25.
No.
And then we bumped it to $10 for the next 125, 175 to the 200 mark. Then we bumped it to 12 until we reached 1,087. And then we bumped it to 15. So we just kept bumping. And then we probably could have gone further, but I drew my limit at 15 because we had already sold like 2,500 and then we just turned them off.
Right.
I thought 15 was a good spot. We ended up bumping it from 8 to 10 too pretty quickly because TikTok was offering free shipping at the $10 mark. I was like, I save you $2 by charging you an extra $2.
Right.
Because if you had ordered it by itself, it's $8 plus $4 shipping, $12. If I charge you 10, then you get free shipping.
Yeah.
But then we just kept bumping it because the demand was increased. And then also having to operate without that capital. That money wasn't coming in and has not come in yet. So, I mean, I had $3,000 acrylic order that one week and I was just like, it's all going to be worth it.
Eventually when I get paid.
When we get paid.
Yeah. Well, and that goes into, especially if you have something in high demand, a lot of times it means that your price is too low.
Yep.
And I remember when Emily was going viral for her pencils, I said, Emily, increase your price. And she was like, okay, but I feel bad. They're pencils. And I'm like, Emily, increase your price. Like you have to. And like for the ornaments that I went viral for, I charged twice what other makers were charging for the same exact ornament, and people were still buying. And I told them, you could probably get this somewhere else cheaper, but if you want it from me, this is the price that I have to charge because this is what makes sense for me and my business and for me to be able to want to make it, because like some of them, because it was during COVID, one of them was a break an emergency like ornament that had a piece of toilet paper in the middle. So
that's so funny.
So it had, but then it was
layered.
Two or three layers. Think 3 layers plus the toilet paper in the middle. And to hide the glue, I had to do a piece of veneer like edging on both sides and then tie it, and then it had a little bit of breathing. Yeah, so that award I'm pretty sure I charged like 25, not award. That ornament I charged I think $25 for. Like if you really wanted it, you're going to pay for it. But and then the other thing too, if you sell, I'm trying to think easy numbers because my brain is shot. Like if you sell something for $20 and you're selling, 500 of them, if you double that price and you sell half of them, you're making the same amount of money,
Yep.
half the work. So
Yeah.
like it's hard, but you got to
And
find that.
maybe even a little more because you're not using half the material.
Right. Yeah. So like it just, finding that sweet spot where they're still selling and you're still making money,
Yeah.
but you're spending less time on doing them because they're selling for more.
Yeah, after going viral, I'm not afraid for us to not sell as many. We were hitting that 200. So TikTok lets you sell 200 a day
Mm.
while you're still in the probation period, which we still are because we can't get
Right.
our orders out fast enough.
Yeah.
But we were hitting that like 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and like the
Oh my God.
evening rush hadn't even picked up yet. And so I was like, if we bump this up, like, and we get less orders, like, I'm not going to be mad because we are already maxing it out daily. And it
Right.
was like we pulled it off, but not well.
Right.
So we
Now
all
without
came out with cuts,
tribulations.
scrapes, tears, and a lot of delirious laughter.
Right.
We have a complaint wall that they made out of roller labels, and they would like write like employee complaints to each other.
That's awesome.
Like, somebody hurt my feelings because we hit the Shopify cha-ching button, and that like scarred Will after a certain point, because when we had them going to Shopify, it was going off every 3 seconds.
Oh my
And
God.
we were just hearing cha-ching, 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 which we love that sound.
Right.
But after that, it was
yes.
It was panic.
Yep.
It was
Yeah.
like, how are we going to handle all this? So
Yeah.
chaos,
Yeah,
chaos over here.
So now what's your plan going forward? Is it just fulfilling the other like 90-day ideas that you had, or?
Yeah, I think, so yeah, we paid off the mirror super fast. Now I like slightly wish I had gone with the mirror 9 to see if I could pay it off, but I was hesitant because my audience was all greeting cards. So I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if I was going to be able to convert them to laser.
Yeah, and as a Mirror 9 owner, I still use a very small area of my laser. So like I actually used Emily's once when mine was down, and I loved the smaller laser compared to mine because
Yeah.
like I didn't have to reach as far. Like it was a little bit easier, and I was kind of surprised about that. I don't think the 7 is a bad idea.
No, I love it.
Especially
I love
now
it so
that like I'm
much.
even comparing it to mine. But yeah, I had to buy the 9 because I knew if I bought the 7, I was gonna have FOMO of the 9.
Yeah. Well, one day, so Bertha's going to go live in my parents' house. My mom is hopefully going to retire soon, and my dad's going to try to train her on some stuff on there. We'll see how well
Nice.
that goes because I know
Right.
how much I fought it. So, I have a feeling at some point in the future, if she really does want to go the laser route in her retirement, then she might end up with my 7 and I might end up with a 9.
I like that.
I would love a Nova. I have 2 standard doors in my house, and I don't think I can fit it in any way. Like, I don't think I can physically get it into the house.
I think the Nova comes apart, but I
Does
don't know
it?
like how apart it comes.
Yeah.
Because I know I've heard of people having to like literally take it apart to get it into their house. I just don't know, the smallest.
Yeah. I mean, I think a
smallest
9 would be
way.
fine.
Yeah. The
So
9
maybe
is
one
great,
day,
especially with
we'll
small
do that.
things. I do small
Yeah.
items too. The only thing it does is it gives you like, obviously you can cut more of the small things at once
Yeah.
compared to, the 7. Because I thought I was gonna make all these big signs, and I don't like them because I don't like shipping them. Shipping big
Yeah.
stuff
Shipping's killer.
sucks. Yeah, so I stick to
Yeah.
the keychains, cake toppers, like all
Mhm.
that small stuff.
I love that. Yeah. So we're gonna add a fiber next. I have an order for hats that we're gonna do for work.
Cool.
I have keychains, and then we
Do
also
you have keychain thingies?
yes, I bought some. I have a whole collection of them, all the colors.
Yay.
And then I love these. We made wooden cards, and they pop
those are
out and make a
cute.
little desk ornament.
I love
So
that.
this like marries our greeting card
Yeah.
company and my laser stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited about the future and like what we have planned. The pressure's now off because we paid her off.
Right.
This is also now his name's Stanley. My followers named him Stanley
Of
because he
course.
got paid off
Right.
using
Stan.
Stanley toppers.
Yeah.
It was fitting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stanley puts in a lot of work. I also like I can't emphasize it enough that like after owning 3 lasers, I can't say enough good things about my Mirror 7 because I mean, we have run her ragged. Well, him
Right.
ragged.
Yeah.
Like over the last, like it's been going non-stop
Yeah.
in here. And like even so to like I'm working my day job, my dad's coming in and dropping in sheets every 10 minutes. We
Yeah.
can cut an entire sheet in 10 minutes. And so nothing has faltered.
Mhm.
Nothing has not cut.
Yeah.
There's been no issues. And I could not say the same thing about my OMTech. I would be in literal fetal position in
Yeah.
tears if I
Well,
had to try
and
to
here's the
fulfill these
thing
on that.
too. If you did have issues, you have the Eon support
Yes.
right
They
there.
responded in 3 minutes the other day. I was like,
Nice.
what kind of like sorcery is this that
Good
you
job, Heather, and your team.
Yeah, shouts out to you.
Right?
they're incredible. I love them. And what's funny is like the issue that I had was just I couldn't get like my Lightburn wasn't connecting to my laser. I sent the email. A minute and a half later, it decided to connect after not connecting for like an hour. It was
course.
totally a user error, not like or a software. Like it was nothing
Right.
on their end. He
Well,
emailed me
that's
back
how
and
it
it
is, though. As soon as you tell somebody,
yeah.
like it happened to me, I'm like, look, this isn't working, and it works. I'm like, it wasn't working.
Yeah. And I just told him, I was like, it just wanted me to threaten to contact y'all. But then they responded back so fast.
That's
I
awesome.
was like, wow, that was the quickest fix in the world. Like,
well, that's another reason I went the Eon route rather than the OMTech, because I knew I was eventually going to need that support.
yeah.
You know, I need someone to take the time to walk me through it,
Yeah.
FaceTime me, you know, if I need it, come out to my house if they need it, because I've needed
Mhm.
both, and they both like really helped. I mean,
Yeah.
I was making keychains for his grandmother's memorial, and I really needed it to work like right then.
Mhm.
And the Eon tech was helping me at 9:00 at night, trying to get like everything to work because my engraves were coming out bad.
Mhm.
And it was like 2 or 3 different like little minor issues that like all compounded to like one
Yeah.
big issue.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he even stayed late because I think he was supposed to get off at 9, and we got off the phone around like 9:30. But the fact that they were willing to help me, you know, in the last minute, because these were for, you know, the funeral the next day, like that's
Yeah.
just that's huge.
Well, and after having no customer support with OMTech and
Exactly.
Flux, to be quite
Well,
honest, both of
Well,
them.
Forge. Yeah.
Yeah.
No customer
Yeah.
service.
No customer support. Like that was worth every bit of hesitation was like
Yeah.
calmed by the fact that like there would be support there.
Right.
So I love him. He's a great machine. And I'm excited to like take this forward too, because I didn't expect to go viral. I think
Right.
like, yeah, 8-9 million views in the span of a couple weeks
Yeah.
over this. So I'm excited about our transition and to see what comes next too.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I can
Yeah.
say, like,
Thanks.
you know, most laser owners, it always goes in a direction they're not really expecting, which is kind of fun because it's just you don't know how it's gonna go. You just
Right.
kind of gotta throw stuff against the
Yes.
wall to see
That's
what sticks,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
just go with it.
That's literally what I tell people all the time. I am a big dreamer. I like to throw things against the wall and see what sticks. I definitely did not have my money placed on Stanley toppers being the thing that stuck, but
Right.
it did like and surpassed anything I could have imagined.
Yeah.
But yeah, biggest tip to laser owners. Also with TikTok, I feel like a lot of people got mad. They're like, well, the only reason you went viral on TikTok is because you already had followers. And I actually did a
It's out there.
poll. Most of my purchases are from people that did not follow me. Because I can see those stats on my end.
Right.
They
Right.
were not followers. And I did get my following by selling greeting cards. Like,
Right.
remember, that's even less popular in this world than laser
Right.
items. Like,
Yeah.
we're selling handwritten greeting cards in a digital
Right.
world. So start now. That's my
Well,
biggest
and
tip for
getting those
TikTok.
followers isn't easy to begin with either. So
No.
even if they were right in that, which they
Yeah.
aren't, you know, even if they were right, like you worked hard to get that following, like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's
Well,
not all of it is not easy.
exactly. another tip with that is TikTok is really pushing TikTok Shop. There are
Mhm.
definitely a lot of pros and cons to it. The pros being that they will shove your videos out to everybody. If
Yes.
they're good quality videos that get to the
Right.
point, show why the customer needs it. So like mine
Mhm.
was, do you have a Stanley? Then you need this. And like went into, we make these, they're available on TikTok Shop. Short,
Right.
sweet, to the point, not just a like a photo of a topper saying buy
Right.
this. Like that's not going to work.
Right.
But that being said, make sure whatever you post, you can do in 3 days. That is my biggest tip. Either have it ready, make it something you can make quickly. Like these
Yeah.
wedding cards are all like they cut and engrave at once, and then it's drop it into the
When
shipping
they aren't
label.
personalized, are they?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
You should
Personalization's the
try
killer.
something that's not personalized too. Like
Yeah.
you can still do if you want to say you wanted someone wants to do Stanley toppers, just do ones that are maybe like themed or I've seen a lot of them where
Yes.
they're a ghost and they're a cute
Yeah.
little ghost. Don't put a name on it,
Yeah.
Like maybe put the ones with the name on it in your Etsy shop that has
Yes.
a longer
That's
turnaround time.
mhm.
Do the plain non-personalized ones in TikTok shop.
That's
And
exactly.
limit your quantity to what you think you can make in a day.
Don't do what I did.
Yeah.
Don't put unlimited quantity of every pattern where then you're begging your acrylic suppliers to ship stuff the next
Right.
day.
Please. Yeah.
I posted in Smoky Hill and was like, how quickly can you send this out, Casey? Because
Right.
like I get them the next day here in South Carolina already. Like once
Nice.
they ship them, they're here the next morning. But I was like, how fast can you like can I pay you $100 to
Yeah,
rush
right.
this?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, we got this. Love them. Don't over abuse that one. I have
Right.
a very nice little present going to
When
them
you
because
I
yeah.
saw you
And
in
then
acrylic obsessed too
yep,
with
Melody.
Melody. That's actually one of the times I reached out to you. Well, the first time I reached out to you because Heather had suggested it like earlier in that week, and I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." Because I kind of been seeing your posts of like, to suppliers, like how quickly, and like your cute little tags and stuff. And you had commented, and I saw that like one of the comments was like 10 minutes ago. I was like, "Oh, she's awake," because I'm a night owl too, and I
Yeah.
always want to like send when my brain works really well, usually at like 9 or 10. And that's when I want to reach out to people. But I'm like,
Yep.
it's 9 or 10. Like if they're on the East Coast, I'm that jerk who's sending a message at 10 p.m. And
No.
I was like, even if she doesn't see this, I at least know that like I'm not waking her up or anything. And I had just seen it. So it was like fresh in my mind. I was like, oh, let me reach out. But yeah, you were talking to pretty sure talking to Melody about one of your recent orders or that you had to order again or
I
whatever.
placed like 8 orders in the span of 10 days with her. And
Oh
I
my
think
God.
she got to the point where she would wake up in the morning, check to see if I placed an order, and then ship it
Right.
out.
Oh, she's the
And
best.
then one day she sent me a picture of my order. She's like, "Hey, like, because they print some. I had ordered a
Oh,
custom
right.
print,
Yeah.
and like, I guess when you load it, they cut it down,
Mm,
and so the edge had a little bit of bleed over, and so
yeah.
it was like Christmas tree on top of like a fake glitter. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Do you want me to cut this down? Or do you want me to send it? Like, it's
Best.
the right size anyway." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, just send it." And then I spent probably 6 hours trying to figure out like why was there blue glitter next to Christmas trees? And then I had totally forgotten I ordered blue glitter. Like I'd forgotten because I had ordered it at 4 something in the morning.
Right.
And it wasn't until it
Clearly.
arrived that I was like, oh, I did order that because I was placing delirious
Yeah.
orders because we
For you.
didn't put a cap on what we were selling. So
Right.
yeah, utilize that. Don't do as I say, not as I do, because that
Right.
causes a lot of stress.
Learn Callie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you 900 things not to do.
Right.
Do I listen to my own advice? Not usually.
Of course. No. You will going forward though, right?
Yes. When we so we're releasing our engraved tags starting next week.
Oh.
I know what I've already ordered from Smoky Hill, and it's obviously taking their normal turnaround time because I wasn't a jerk who asked to rush it again because I ordered ahead of time. But I know that I can get like 40 tags out of a sheet, so I will only limit it to 40. And
Smart.
then
Smart.
if
And
that
see,
does
I'd
well,
even limit it to for my personal advice, I'd limit it to like 35 or like
yeah.
36
I think
because
I can get 46 out of it, but we limit it to
okay,
40.
good.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
don't do the max because
No.
my luck, I will screw up 6 of them and be like, oh, great. Now it doesn't fit on a sheet. Now I have to order a whole new sheet. And
Yeah. Well, and
I'll
like once we reach the
ways to
point
sabotage
of,
myself.
I think I only ordered like 1 or 2 sheets per design. And so if we find one that is doing well, like if we start to sell like half the sheet already, then I'll go ahead and place an order for more of that. I just don't want to stock a massive amount of this like customized pattern ply without knowing if it was
And
going to sell.
the stick on the wall thing, you never know what's going to stick. And if you put all your money on something that's going to stick, you can pretty much guarantee you've ruined
gonna
its chance
stop.
of
Yep.
sticking. It's going to
Yeah.
fall straight off. So like you have to just like, again, throw it and see what they want, because what you think is often not what it is. And then now you have 14 of this one, and the one that you bought 2 of that you think everyone was going to hate is the one that everyone loves.
Yeah.
So
We've also had it turned off for over almost 2 weeks now. So TikTok does keep trying to run, because I have like 2 in stock. They're the color nobody buys, the brown glitter in a size that nobody buys, in a font that nobody buys.
Yeah.
Just so it'll pop up so people know what I'm talking about. But I have TikTok trying to run ads on those videos consistently. And I'm like, stop. That's enough slices. Stop.
Yeah.
They're not in stock. Stop.
Right. Well, I love it. Do you have anything else that you want to? I mean, normally we ask, do you have any advice for a newer struggling laser owner? But I feel like we gave them a whole
lot of
ton
advice.
of advice.
Yeah.
So unless there's anything you didn't mention that you can think of.
I think my biggest thing, and I touched on it already, is if you don't own a laser, or you're thinking about upgrading, really think about the benefits of going with a higher quality laser versus just settling for something else, because of price. I think price scares a lot of people. It is a large investment. Like we're talking anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000 you're investing into a machine.
If not more, yeah.
Yeah, and you may not have a social following, or you may not know. Put in the work. Don't post something like once or twice and then give up. Continue at it, and don't be afraid to go big. I mean, I'm not saying go with a Nova or something like that. But like go quality over price, I would say. That's my biggest tip, because I did 2 lasers before this. And if I could go back to 2021 Callie and say, hey, you're going to really love lasers, you should think about, like, if you're revisiting your laser journey, I wish I would have gone Eon or whatever in the first place. I wish I'd gone with my gut to begin with, instead of being scared by the price, because I mean, we just paid this thing off in 19 days. And I know that's abnormal. I know Emily did a challenge where she paid off hers in like 50 something days. I had an internal joke that I wanted to beat her so bad on her beat. And we're really good friends. We text all the time. So I was like texting her daily. I'm like, I want to beat your record. I don't think I'm the fastest person ever.
Really proud of you, by the way.
I love her so much. She's literally the best cheerleader. But yeah, I would just say, like, really figure out a way to make it happen, but also like trust that it's worth it.
Right. And I mean, so I'm on the opposite end. So as much as I kind of, joke and jab at Glowforge, so I bought a Glowforge first. And I feel like I had to go that route first. One, because price, there was no way I was going to convince him to spend the 10 or whatever I spent on the 9.
No.
Exactly. I could barely convince him to spend the like 4 that I did spend.
I reluctantly said, okay.
Not you now.
Huh?
Your voice.
No.
Okay. Like you're holding up the household right now, so you can't go down yet. But I bought the Glowforge first, and it gave me, it was perfect for me where I was in my journey at the time, because I had like the Glowforge dumbs it down so much that it made it easier for me to jump in, but then it also gave me a cheaper way to test the theory. Now, Glowforge has changed their prices a lot, and I
That's
don't
what I
know
was
that
gonna
I would
say.
recommend that anymore, because I think
Yeah.
the one that I got that was 4,000, I think is almost 6,000. And if that's
Yeah.
the case, if you're willing to spend
Go with the
6,000,
Mirror 5.
go straight, for the
Yeah.
Mira 5 or the Mira 7, that's around
Mhm.
like 8, I think now. Because when you're going to invest a similar amount to the bigger industrial lasers, then just jump straight into those industrial lasers.
Like if
Um,
you know that's what you want to do,
exactly.
go
But
with the good one to begin with.
right. And I didn't know. I was like, oh, this looks really cool. I was trying to get out of making t-shirts and find something else that I could still be creative, but that wasn't t-shirts. There's people who've bought diodes and done really well with
Yeah.
their diode, and
Mhm.
they see how long it takes, and so they can only like offer so much. But find that perfect product that works with the diode, because there's still things like you can make. I saw an ad the other day for one of the diodes, and it was like a big cutting board, but they just engraved like a little logo or like letter or whatever in the
Mhm.
bottom right of the
Mhm.
cutting board, and it only took like 2 minutes.
Right.
And cutting boards you can sell for
Yeah.
quite a bit. So
Mhm.
find that product that works for the laser that you can afford at that time.
Yeah.
Save up money. The Glowforge made it so that I could afford my Eon. My
Yeah.
Eon was paid for before he even showed up.
Right.
So there's
But
ways to do it. But
I would also say, along with them changing price, and you could get you get into a 5 or 7
right.
for about the same.
Yeah.
I feel like the community has also grown a lot more since
Right.
you started.
Oh,
So
major
there's
change.
there's so much more resources. There
Yep.
are, you have your course,
Right.
and like there's so many courses. There's so
Agreed.
many
Yeah.
Facebook groups for
Yeah, I was
community.
in one Facebook group, and it was like pretty much
Right.
the only one.
Right.
And I knew no friends who
Right.
had one. I didn't that's all I
Right.
had.
Yeah, right.
So
Now
I agree.
there's a community. There are amazing podcasts
Mhm.
that you can listen to.
Nice.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, there's all these resources that getting into. I
Mhm.
mean, even if you have the if you have the means, you jump into a 9
Right.
for your first. There's
Yeah.
so many resources for you
Yep.
that'll make it a lot easier than
Yeah.
back when there wasn't any.
Right.
And yes, Glowforge then made more sense because
Yeah.
you can get your feet wet
Right.
without
Yeah.
this huge commitment. Now
Mhm.
you can go, and I mean, it's people have proven time and time again, you, Emily, and so many others,
Right. Yeah.
that these machines pay for themselves.
Right.
Yes.
You just have to make that jump in. And yes, it is.
And you have to have the patience
terrifying.
to find that
Yep.
thing
Yes.
that
yes.
pays it for you, because it's
Right.
not the same for everyone.
Right. No.
I could go
And-
try and sell Stanley's right
Right.
now and sell
and
0.
don't be afraid of like, I mean, I remember when watch bands were like
Oh,
all the
yeah.
craze,
Yeah.
and now it's down. There's always something coming
Yep.
in. So don't be like, oh, I'm not going to jump in now because everyone's doing Stanley's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but jump in, and you're going to jump in since everyone's doing it.
Right.
The next thing's around the corner.
Right.
And you just jump in, and then the machine pays for itself. So
Yeah.
it is an initial investment. What is it? Barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So it
Yep.
is a big, investment, but it can, if you
Keep
put
putting
in the
in.
work, it can pay for itself.
Yeah.
And then after that, have fun.
Absolutely.
Well, Callie has a meeting soon, so I
Yes.
don't want to keep
We'll
her
get
too late.
you-
She's too easy to talk to.
Yes.
So
So we stay tuned for episode 2 with Callie.
I know, yeah, that'd be do
a
an
few
update to
months down the road to see where
Yeah.
you're at
Yeah.
and how the journey's going for you.
Mhm.
That'd be so fun. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't looking because of the meeting. There was just somebody like dropping off a
It was like-
ginormous package.
Yeah.
Like, what did I order?
Probably more acrylic.
So
Probably.
to get you in a little more trouble, where can
Right.
people find you?
The best place to find me is on TikTok at Sparks of Joy Co. We have an Instagram, we have Facebook. We're not very popular on those, and then our website's sparksofjoyco.com. But most of our laser items live on TikTok, so we share everything from behind the scenes. I talk a lot about greeting cards, laser stuff, mental health. I share just about anything and everything over there because we've built like a really cool community where
Yeah.
we can do
Yeah.
that. So love for people to join us there.
Well, and
Yeah,
thanks
for
again
sure.
for booking last minute and going
Absolutely.
Switching around
yeah,
sometimes.
we both had to do some switching, so I appreciate your flexibility with all the stuff that you
Yeah.
have going on. So it was great
Absolutely.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great chat. Thanks.
And stick around for our life update coming up next.
All right.
And we're back.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was.
It's a good one back.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you guys for sticking
Man,
through the
okay.
weeks.
So we know it's been a little rough.
We are well aware that
It's not our normal
things-
content.
Yeah.
It was not our normal
Mhm.
quality. I
Yep.
could say we did the best we could with what we had at the time, and just trying to navigate life while also navigating the
Right.
podcast.
Right.
So
yeah, these I mean, I was thinking about it the other day. We moved like what 2.5 months ago.
mhm,
It feels like forever
mhm,
because of everything that we've been doing, and and also not working. That for me
Right.
personally,
yeah,
that feels
But, like,
weird. But yeah, it just
you've been
feels
not working necessarily, but we've been working.
no, we've
on
been doing
other
yeah,
things.
no, for sure. I'm
So
just
it's
saying
like,
not having a job to
right.
go to.
Yeah.
And then starting my course
Mhm.
and like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been so crazy, and
Yeah.
it's been a short period of time, but it feels like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So this episode was nice. It's like we're back.
Yeah, it feels like it too.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about I'm excited about our next guest.
Yeah.
I'll give a little teaser for the people who made it this long into the episode. And it's one of the admins from the trademark
Mhm.
watchdogs group. So I'm really excited about that one because
Yeah.
it's like it's always a hot topic in the
Mhm.
community, and there's
Right.
a lot of people who don't understand the risk in what they're doing.
Right.
They don't understand
Right.
that there's certain things they can't do.
Right.
And so yeah, we're just gonna talk about all of that. But I'm excited about, like, I have a long list of
Right.
like guests that I really want to have on that I'm going to be reaching out to, and that I just haven't reached out to yet because we've kind
We
of
haven't been settled.
We've been a hot mess,
Right.
for lack of a better term,
Right.
and I don't want someone of good quality to potentially be overshadowed by
Not
the
that
hot
everyone
mess.
who's been on is low
Right.
quality.
No, but like we've done, that's why we've kind of
Yeah.
like why we had JR. That's why we had Tabitha and her daughter, and we were doing the best with what we could,
Right.
and yeah, again, we just appreciate you sticking there
Singing.
through it.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm sick, and we canceled last week because it was a different sickness, not even this one.
Right.
But we're getting there.
Mhm.
I'm seeing the light.
This is almost done back here.
It's almost
Behind
done. We
this.
did have to, in typical, me fashion, I ended up changing it a few times.
Yes.
Because I mean, let's be honest, our last studio was pretty damn amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And so we had the first one, I had a lot of pressure in pulling it off.
Right.
The second one, it's been so much more pressure because the first one looks so awesome.
Mhm.
We have that to live up to.
Right. Right.
And so
we changed it a bit, and that's why
yeah,
we wanted to try, since this is like our second studio, which is crazy to say, but
right.
Since this is the second one, we wanted to, we didn't just want to recreate the same one.
Yeah. We wanted to try and step it up. So
step it up a
we'll
little
see
bit.
if we pulled that off when
Yeah.
we finally
You let us know.
reveal it.
And if not, we could just go buy the other panels.
I know, right? That's always our
we
plan
could always,
B.
our plan B is to go back to the old one.
Go buy the other panels, paint the wall black, and we're good.
Yeah. And then keep that bookcase right there with the ornaments, and we're done. We're back. But no, we wanted to add some more. I have
and change it up because I mean, although I love those panels.
Yeah.
I see them everywhere now.
Yeah, everyone's got
I've seen them on TV several times. I've seen them in other studios.
Yep.
So I just wanted to like kind of switch it up and make something a little bit more unique if we could. But yeah, again, if it doesn't work, then you'll be seeing those panels again because they're still awesome. But yeah, that's all we have.
School started for everybody,
which is why the germs started.
Yep.
So 2 days into school, then JR got sick, and then he gave it to me, and then this week Jackson got sick and gave it to me. So they've been giving a lot.
Sharing's caring.
They
don't like me. They don't give me anything. but I'm
you know,
fine with it.
and
I don't
I'm
want it.
kind of fine with it too. Like I don't really want it to be me, but like you have to then take care of like everyone kind of because I'm like mailing it in. So thank you for
You're welcome.
being the one who's not sick, who's taking it for the team. Because if you go down, we're
Yeah.
screwed. Especially if I'm still down. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
here's some crackers, kids.
Yeah.
'cause-
So far, the only thing that's taken me down has been COVID.
Yeah, surprisingly. And even
Yeah.
then it was only like a day.
Omarion.
He's
Yeah.
He's a
But
freak.
it's all right. We got new COVID coming, so I'll have some
Shut
vacation
up.
time coming up.
Whatever. No vacation, no time off. We're self-employed now.
Well,
Both
yeah,
of
but
us.
new COVID. So
Whatever.
round 2.
All right.
Well, all right. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Again, follow us on all the social medias.
Mhm.
Subscribe to YouTube if you're not subscribed. Keep watching, and
Become a
Patreon.
patron.
Become a patron. Only $4.
Yeah, $4 a month.
$4 at the very low.
Yeah.
Who does
Get it early.
Yeah, cheaper than a cup of coffee.
Right? It is. It really is. Like
Yeah.
you can't even say it's
Yeah.
a cup of coffee
Yeah.
anymore because can't even get coffee.
Keep
for $4.
Starbucks for like, you know what? Instead of the venti that you always get the tall.
No, that's too far down. Grande. Just one down.
Just one down, and then you subscribe for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been another great episode of the Right Back Project. Crystal and John.
Bye.
Maybe we're all done.